Let's get back to this fairy tale, this Lambeth. They even called it a Lambeth. Even Miles O'Brien, over there. I mean, talk about a shammer. Lake Barrett, a shammer. Ken Buesler, a shammer. Even they call it a Lambeth. He called it a Sorcerer's Apprentice. That's what it is. It's a fairy tale. It's a It blows my mind. This pond is such a perfect, beautiful metaphor for what is going on the Fukushima lies and the denial and the sheeple. Because I've shot all these historic videos over the years, including right there by the tree. The first one, it tells you they're lying, they're lying, they're lying. Just remember, it took 1.5 years for Kevin Blanch to convince anybody on earth this was even one meltdown. Oh, it's a 7. That took the IAEA. How many times have I protested the IAEA in Vienna? I have the Blanch box. Hopefully it'll be there in September. So, it took them 6 years to rate it a 6. I mean a 7. 6 years to rate it a 6. 6 years! Well, it's only 7. Who sets a scale from 1 to 7? 7's the maximum. That's malice from inception. And on Caldecott, Japanese are tidy people. They cleaned it up. Arnie Gundershale, I called it a hydrogen blast for 7 years. Chris Busby says the Pacific Ocean's a big place. It'll dilute. Oh my God, the half-nukers parade them out. Where's Greenpeace went? Oh, Greenpeace sold down the river. So did Friends of the Earth. So did freaking all of them. All of them. It's the ultimate litmus test. I'm serious. The ultimate litmus test. Look up, and if you don't understand a litmus test, look up the definition of a litmus test. Look it up. The greatest litmus test in human history. By any journalist, the journalist betrayed us. Any journalist who's covered. The New York Times today calls it the ruined. The ruined. You'll say they're crippled. They'll try to convince you that 1 is more than 3. Chernobyl, the worst nuclear disaster in history, still to this day they're saying this. When Chernobyl was 1 partial reactor, a new reactor, so there was no spent fuel pools, graphite, versus 3 full core meltdowns, 8 spent fuel pools, 7, and including MOX fuel, full of literally decades and decades, massive, some of the biggest loads of spent fuel on the face, including MOX fuel, which is against law here that we shipped over there. Blown to smithereens, and they're trying to tell you Chernobyl is worse than that. Okay, Orwell, Winston, 2 + 2 is still fucking 4. I got news for you. So, the fairy tale. So, this is the insanity that this country. No wonder. I read the other day that upwards of close to 40% of the population of this country is on some kind of psych drug. That's just over. That's prescribed psych drugs. How about, well, you're probably talking another 20 or 30 on recreational psych drugs that aren't prescribed. The whole country's insane. The whole country is hypnotized. Well, you've had 70 years of nuclear fallout into the biosphere. You've had, how much? 1940 Orwell on Balco. How long's network television been around? Totally hypnotized. It's like today. Today is the first temperature, reality, logical day of fall here. September 21st. Or excuse me, we're the 22nd, aren't we? Yeah, September 22nd. So they're going to start dumping the 24th, which today, it's the 23rd in Japan. So they're going to start dumping the tank water. So the question is, the illogical mind of the average Americano, you need to speak American. American Vespucci spoke Italiano. Remember I did those videos at his grave? He never set foot here. He never spoke the Queen's English. The psychic and the logic of the American, the North American. We are the downwinders. See no nuclear. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns. Until we have nuclear meltdowns. Then it's see no nuclear. Speak no. Here, the nuclear emperors have no fucking clothes. You're going to run, and they're Renaissance. So I want you to think about the insanity of this country. This country's insane. It's official. Totally insane. You're trying to tell me there's no byproduct from 3,4 never got mentioned. Somebody asked me, well, what are the course? As you know, I named them right here in March of 2011. I named it Del Mar Argentina syndrome. They brought it, they can't get near. They're in the Pacific Ocean. Go get a bone marrow biopsy and check out. Here's the insanity. Anybody who's pro-nuclear energy post-Fukushima is completely insane. They're in denial. They're nuts. They're whack. Well, people that are in power, EPA, DOE, science professors, you know, I'm a butcher, what's a cow? I'm a baker, what's a cake? I'm a carpenter, what's a hammer? I'm a zoologist, I'm a biologist, I'm a university scientist at Weber State, at Cal Berkeley, at San Diego State. What's Fukushima? They're criminals. There'll come a time in this country that every name, I mean, they branded themselves in history. There's going to come a time in this country, and I don't think it's that far off, that the reality is going to set in deep. And anybody who's provocated and covered up the Fukushima disaster is going to be America's most wanted. Big time. It's like the courts are so corrupt. The media is so messed up. There's no justice in this system. It's going to go back to the way the native cultures used to do it. The native cultures, you know, how did native cultures control population? Well, if you had more than one child, in many of the tribes' cultures, you were shunned. That's what it's going to be. And these people are going to be isolated. Well, I think it'll even be worse than that. What do I think should happen to them? Well, it's not up to me. I don't believe in violence. They do. You know, the cancer epidemic, the tide pool collapse in 2012 at your feet, in denial. Fukushima denial is the greatest mental illness in human history. So at the same time, the greatest nuclear disaster in human history, bar none, Winston, 2 + 2 is still fucking 4. NuScale goes public. The SMRs in Utah's funding these things by 2019. They don't have one. They don't have anything. And the CEO, the president of the company, and all the insiders have been reported, have been dumped. They go take it public. They take something with no product, with no revenue stream, with no nothing, just some Utah state taxpayer pork. They go public with it, and then they dump their stock. They're dumping like crazy, become multi-millionaires for something that never existed, for a fairy tale, for a freaking unicorn. Bill Gates is taking one, doesn't even have a license, doesn't even have anything. So as Sam Altman says, the fairy tale, at the same time the Fukushima disaster is happening. It just proves that this country is totally fucking insane. The country's gone. Well, again, upwards of 40% of the population is on a psych drug? Whoa, the place is nuts. Full blown out nuts. Afraid of nuclear meltdowns. Nuclear meltdowns happen, and they're going to dump the water. It's not a question of dumping in the water. It's a question of how much water was caught. They haven't built tanks for years and years and years. So you're just telling me this ended? It was no. This is, and then they tell you. They come right out and tell you. 60 Minutes took them 2,888 days to tell you what Kevin Blanch told you in 1 hour. Well, Lake Barrett to Leslie Stahl told what Kevin Blanch told you the first. These are full-blown up meltdowns. They're circling the wire. They're going to lie. They're going to lie. It's going to genocide the Pacific Ocean. The tide pool. You think that's coincidence the tide pools wiped out in 2012? Oh, just wasting disease. I was the first guy that physically said you could physically see the blob. I'm on the coast, I'm fighting for my life. I says the salmon will collapse on cue. Steelhead go to sea 1 to 2 years. They collapse on cue in 2011, 2012. Yes, they live in the sea, steelhead. But Chinook won't collapse till 2016. Record returns in 2013, 14, 15. Oh, off a cliff in 20. Why? Because steelhead salmon go to sea for 5 years. We don't get dead tide pools. Oh, Kevin Blanch does. We don't get dead human beings in bone marrow frying. Oh, Kevin Blanch does. We count every fucking salmon, every one. We have 10 years of data. We can empirically plug in regressionary models now on the Kenine, on the Nushkak, on the Fraser, on the mighty Columbia, on the Rogue, on the Willamette, on the Deschutes, on the Jedediah Smith has no dams. They're all in symphony. We could plug in the regression, dying at sea. This great Pacific genocide in the heat bubble over the western United States. All this acute, radical things that happen. In science, we coincidence doesn't kill it. Anybody uses the word, just like dilution. You use the word dilution when it comes to nuclear, you're a fraud. Everyone, I mean, that's nuclearism 101 at a junior high level. We could plug in regression models. Now, we have the data. Any regression model you build will show the outliner. It will deviate from the mean. The outliner on the computer model is going to show, this is unarguable science, The outliner on the model is going to show the outlier was 2011. Any model you show, whether it be the starfish collapse, the anchovy sardine collapse, the whale collapse. What are the big 60,000 pound humpback whales? Those are the smallest, tiny sea star, Upper California purple urchin. Fukushima killed my food. What are the 60,000 pound? Well, reply to the sea star, to the sky. We too from the sea. You broke the chain. Fukushima killed my food. At the platonic level, as Kevin Blanch said right there in March 20, they're lying, there's full lies. They're going to use a propaganda machine. They're going to try to hide, and they're going to hypnotize you sheep. And Orwell on Balco, they're going to circle the wagons. There's been a renaissance in nuclear propaganda. Your own money, Price Anderson, look it up. The Immunity Act, they get all this free pork. There's so much money that's spewed out in the last 70 years. They turn on the spigot, the faucet, to the money faucet, the Manhattan Project, and they never shut it off. And they pass what they call the Immunity Act. Anything new, the Department of Energy is the Department of Nuclearism, as is the Army Corps Engineers, which classified Kevin Blanch why I'm in critical condition fighting for my life. It's going to give you cancer. It's going to give you cancer. I got cancer. Went into the bone marrow cancer. 11. There's no stairway to Kevin. Where'd you sleep last night? Don't you lie to me. I slept in the dead fucking pines with the sun from Fukushima, Japan. The ocean. Nuclear meltdowns are hot. Are they dumping? Of course, they're going to start dumping this. Okay. 824. Okay. They're going to start dumping 824. It's not a question of the dumping and their so-called treated water. The question is, how much water did they catch? Where are the cores? Go get a Bomar. They've never got near the cores. The water has been on these things. Rain happens. I mean, we've had typhoon after typhoon after typhoon over there. Massive, incredible rain. Washes over into the Pacific Ocean. I have posted the data over and over on the cesium-137, which only comes from a nuclear fission event, a meltdown, in the fish, in the harbor at Fukushima in May of this year, 1,800 times over the safe legal limits. Oh, there's a net there. Wait a minute. Just a year earlier, they caught at 1,400 becquerels of cesium-137, half-life very short, 40 miles out. Let's see, the bridge from Fukushima disaster, when it happened, landed on Gold Beach. I'm not talking a walking bridge. I'm talking a overpass, a freeway overpass, landed at Gold Beach, Oregon in day 6 from the disaster. The Japanese current is swift, flows into the California current. Breaking news, fish swim. Breaking news. Jet stream moves left to right. Hello, you're in denial. You're in denial. You think they caught this is a shiny ball. No media has reported this. They're calling it crippled. They still won't use the word meltdown. And I could prove this. When Putin invaded Ukraine, USA Today, headline story. You act like you don't know as the cancer slowly grows. La 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 la. Headline, USA Today. Nuclear reactors in Ukraine could become Fukushima-style disaster. Oh, they said the F word. Classify it. Keep the sheep in the dark. And you're trying to tell me there's no byproduct from 3 full-blown meltdowns into the Pacific Ocean. Freaking, and they caught all the water. If they caught all the water, there would literally be tanks covering the entire island. Do the math. I have. The Tower to Babel. That's what it is. It's not a question of the release of the treated water. It's a question of how much of the water did they catch. The ice wall? The ice wall. The ice wall. They've come out and admitted and said the ice wall failed when they did it. And you're going to... What do you think? They dumped water and they caught it magically? Oh, fuck. We're talking 4,500 and what? 48 days in the year. Oh, my God. And all this is a coincidence. It doesn't get it. The greatest PhD in human history, the litmus test. If you've gone along and you're a science professor, you're a science teacher in high school, junior high, you work for NOAA, you work for the EPA, you're a television producer, you're a talking head, yeah, I'm an expert on nuclearism, you're a fraud. If you haven't been running around screaming with your hair on fire, Fukushima, Fukushima, how can you even call yourself a scientist? How can you call yourself a biologist? How can you call yourself a journalist? Black and yellow journalism on Balco's what you are. Oh my God, the new Madame Curie, Miles O'Brien, it's disgusting. How can you go along? The Pacific Ocean has collapsed in an acute fashion. The heat bubble, the ecology has collapsed in an acute fashion post-2011. It's unarguable. It's unarguable. That's not opinion. First, you hypothesized that Kevin Blanch. They're lying. These are full blown out meltdowns. They're lying. They're going to push the energy in the Pacific. You don't even know what it is. This has never happened before. Plutonium skies, a country of lies, a country that denies. You can't handle the truth. You don't want the nuclear truth. And then at the same time, you're going to dump more money for fairy tale little SMRs, and they're getting rich dumping. This is the country that we live in. No integrity. They will do anything for money. They don't give a shit and call themselves a fucking journalist. Call themselves a scientist. Scientists are mystified. They're baffled. They're stumped. They're perplexed. They're bewildered. They're curious. They're wrong. That's all we heard. That's not science. Coincidence? Coincidence doesn't get it in science. What Kevin Blanch has done, the greatest PhD in human history, is what I've done. The greatest PhD in, bar none. First you hypothesize the knowledge, then you do 12 years. How about my tide pole work alone at historic low tide? And I don't even live there. Full of cancer, sleeping in a sleep bag. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of historic raw footage. My salmon work, my work at the IAEA, my work as interviewing Mitt Romney, Mike Lee, every politician I have, asking Donald Trump, about Fukushima, exposing the lies. Me oh my, Nobel Prize on Balco, on chemo. You're going to go along with this. The shiny balls. Really? Are we that illogical? Was Orwell right all along? 1984 on Balco on chemo. 2011 on Balco on chemo. Orwell couldn't dream this up on fucking 2 hits of acid and a bucket of hallucination mushrooms. You're going to go along that somehow they caught all the water and they treated the water. It's so illogical. It's so ridiculous. It's kind of like the calendar that we use is so illogical and ridiculous. First day of freaking fall starts September 20. When calendar and logical, come on, man. The first day of fall is today, calendar-wise, temperature-wise. But people are socially engineered that, up is down, black is white, wrong. It's whatever they tell you it is. Winston, what happened to Winston's girlfriend? Whatever happened to her? I ain't gonna quit you. No, I ain't gonna quit you. No, I ain't gonna quit you. They all quit me. You can't hang with me. Not going to happen. This consumption function, what's your function, consumption junkies? This country needs a third 3-year-old. My little granddaughter's in 3-year-old school in New York, and she is better at verbiage and language than the average. This country doesn't know the difference between could, did, has, will. Is Fukushima a verb, an adjective, or a noun? It's all of the above now. It's like the greatest word in human history. synonymous, like Dr. Burroughs told me over here years ago. You do know, Kevin, you are tied with the greatest event in human history. You are forever connected with the hip of the greatest event in human history. I says the greatest crime in human history also. Yes, that too. The Fukushima meltdowns, you're synonymous with it for time and all eternity. Yeah, I know that. So you're telling me the greatest PhD opportunity in the history of mankind. The greatest PhD, this was made in Vienna, the IEA, I have the Blanch box. Kettle me, I'll kettle you. You're telling me the greatest PhD opportunity in absolute human history, and you're looking at the only person. Well done for today, okay? Dana. I don't eat, sleep, drink with it. I have the atom bomb with it. I sleep with it. So Winston, how did they do it? One of my just two of my cable TV. Winston about 2 plus 2 is whatever we tell you it is, Winston. One partial core meltdown at Chernobyl that's 780,000 men and 2 versus 3 core meltdowns and 7-8 spent fuel pools of MOX fuel. One is greater than 10, 3, 11. It's whatever. Oh, yeah, you're right. Not me, Winston. Where's Winston's girlfriend? Not me. 2 plus 2 is still fucking 4. They didn't catch the water. That's the point. They caught a little bit of the water, and they treated a little bit of the water, and they're going to dump a little bit of the thing, but they caught such a tiny, tiny fraction of the water that's poured onto these cores. And how about the spent fuel in the Zerk fires? Hello. Just removes left and right. Fish swim. Again, I could put out the KLK study, Ken Buesler's name's on it in 2011, 40 kilometers off the coast, 1,000 times the background levels of cesium 137. In their own conclusion, I'll post the links and spoon feed you over and over and over and over. Hello. The only thing that's gone on is see no nuclear energy, speak no nuclear energy. We're afraid of nuclear meltdowns, we're afraid of nuclear meltdowns until we have a nuclear meltdown. Or this is the most it's Twilight Zone on Balco on chemo. This country's insane. Germany's not Fukushima now. Neither's Taiwan. Neither's China. And you see politicians come out and say, oh, we're going to do this on Fukushima in that part of the world, in Asia. They don't represent the people. Politicians don't represent the people. They've been protesting over there the entire time. You just didn't see the protest because our media won't show the capture. They kettle me. They gone after me. They hire teams of trolls to slander and attack me while I'm in critical felonies in all 50 states. But again, the AKA, the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate, and at the same time, these hypnotized sheep are so psychotic and so mentally and so gone. We need nuclear energy. Why, anybody that says that, it's like I asked that kid the other day. I said, can you tell me how the centrifuge process goes to get uranium-238 from uranium-235, which is used in a nuclear energy reactor? Can you explain that filthy, disgusting process? What are you talking about? Don't drop your dry casket, man. It's like this university. They're so pro-nuclear, so psychotic. I'm like, turn the pond into spent fuel pools. What's a Zerk fire? New Skills dumping stock became multi-millionaires off the greatest sham in Utah. He's right out of your bill. And you stood by and let him do it. Just rob you and rip you off and lie to you. You don't think nuclear fallout's deadly? And we just let him. Not me. The whole world just stood by, well, not the whole world, the United States of usury. Everybody just stood by and let him get away. Not me. The greatest PhD opportunity in human history for 548 days. I'm the only one that took it. Right down. Ha! It's the greatest PhD in human history. What did I get for it? What do I get for it? All I ever wanted was my peace of mind. Oh, I got that. You? All you freaking scientists, you producers, your television can't make it, fake it. Comfortability is not the zenith of life. In fact, it's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. What a shame. What a shame. The Great Pacific Genocide. The greatest PhD in human history. The evidence is all there. Not going to happen. Could happen. Happened. Happened. Living dumping world. For every action, there's a reaction. That's basic fundamental logic. That's basic fundamental science. The greatest action in human history, the triple meltdowns at FUKUSHIMA, Japan, which Kevin Ledge is the only person on earth that reported it and freaking hypothesized it and did the work as the catastrophe unfolded. The tight position feed, it's a call. The nuclear energy crime, the untouchables, and the sheep believe. The sheep believe. Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, freaking Bigfoot, aliens! What will it be next? Oh, small modular nuclear reactors. What about the reality of what's really happening as it's happening? Longevity just heads south in 12. Cancer epidemic explodes. Fucking dead pine trees, dead fucking birds at your feet. I mean, the whole thing. You can look at in symphony with the tide pools, with the salmon, with the wells, with all this, all acutely, radically collapsed, started to collapse in 2011. Not like this, not gradually for years. So now, it's unarguable science. It is unarguable science that we know the greatest outlier in human history on the Pacific Ocean and the North American ecology happened in 2011. That's an unarguable fact. It's been proven through the salmon data, through the well data, through the tide pool data. Did a meteor hit Earth? Hit the Pacific Ocean? Did 1,000 exile Valdez's freaking rupture? Oh, 3 full core meltdowns. Pushing it, can't even get near the cores. Delmar Argentina syndrome. Down the stretch they come. Unbelievable. The nuclear emperors. I mean, that's exactly what it is. The nuclear energy emperors. Hans Christian Andersen Blanch. The nuclear energy emperors. Oh, they have no fucking clothes. Stay tuned.